Mm-hmm.
And one of the first questions I did want to ask you was actually a Cade Cunningham question. And the question was, JB wants to make Cade into a two-way player. So my question to you is, do you think JB Bickerstaff can turn Cade Cunningham into the two-way player that a lot of Pistons fans view him as?
100% he can. Cade's defensive prowess is very, very slept on. Cade's size, athleticism, and his just overall will to want to be a defender. He doesn't really back away. He's not one of the guys that they kind of just like throw in the corner like a Steph Curry because they don't want to like expose him. Cade's not a guy that they can just like hunt out and like take advantage of. Like if they do, it's to put him in foul trouble. But he's shown the ability to play defense without fouling. Wasn't his best last season, but I just think it was because of the lack of defenders that they had on the team. The best defender that they brought in was Asar Thompson, who was a rookie, which made no sense to me. So I absolutely could see JB Bickerstaff kind of turning Cade into that guy. I feel like like I said, the size is there, the will is there. He's able to do it off ball. We've seen him strip up guys like Luka in his rookie season. Trae Young, he's done a good job against the Tyrese Halliburtons of the world. Even if you look at the guards in the division, or even the Cleveland who we played with last season, those guys are undersized. So while Cleveland was a fantastic defensive team, it wasn't because of their guards. I don't really think they offered a ton based on what Cleveland's defensive identity was. Cade can add to that because he's big. He can play in the front court. He can kind of give you some versatile looks on your lineup. He's a fantastic rebounder too. I just think he gives so much more as a guard that two-way hope that JB is looking for is absolutely there. It also takes a little bit of pressure off of guys who aren't the best defenders. I don't think you should be looking at Jay Ivey to turn into some lockdown defender. If you have Cade, if you have other guys around him, you have veterans around Cade potentially as well, it kind of takes a little bit more responsibility off his plate. And it also gives him the opportunity to guard, maybe not maybe the team's top 2 or 3 scorers. Maybe he's now going to your number 4 guy, just watching on a spot-up shooter. That takes a little more pressure off of him. It gives him better, more fresh legs to play offense too. I definitely think that potential is there, and I can't wait to see what that transition looks like.
I think when you talk about Cade Cunningham and you talk about defense, I think last year a lot of people I remember reading on just scrolling on Twitter, a lot of people were kind of disappointed. And the way I looked at it was he was putting so much of his energy on the offensive side of the floor that maybe he just wasn't locked in on the defensive end. And I understand that when you're the number 1 option on a rebuilding team that only won 14 games and you're averaging 22 points and you need to even score 35 for the game to be remotely close, right, maybe your attention on defense isn't there. But if you go back and watch his rookie year under Casey, he was locking people up. He was playing good defense. So yes, we know it's there. We know he can play defense. We know he can lock up some of the better players in this league. I mean, he was getting stamps from approval from Kevin Durant for his defense. I mean, we know the type of player he can be, and I think JB will get him right. JB's going to put him in the right position. Sounds like he already has a plan for Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, how he wants to use them, and not kind of have them out on an island, kind of like what we saw last year. A lot of the players that were playing defense last year are just the schemes that they were using. Kind of seemed like Monty, the way he structured it, there wasn't really a concise plan. And it was just well, hey, we tried. I think with JB, I think he has a clear-cut plan of what he wants to do and execute. And I think that's something I'm really excited about, to see how Cade Cunningham develops under him.
I keep saying it. Cade Cunningham is the most underrated player in basketball right now. It's because of the things that the other people don't see. And again, those who are here, those who are in the chat, me and you, we watch the Pistons every day. We know what they speak of. We know who they are. We know what they represent. Cade's defense doesn't get a ton of notoriety because people don't know that he is that good at it yet, just because of how bad the team is. Yeah, that ability is absolutely there. I feel like he really, I keep speaking to his ceiling, because even with what he's done thus far, with the help around him, going on his 3rd coach in 4 years, the limited spacing he's had, the injuries he's had to deal with, the responsibility that's been put on his shoulders, and the way he's been able to excel up to this point on both sides of the floor, I think it's extremely understated based on who he is as a player. I think Cade's ceiling is extremely high still at this point, and I think we're going to see the best version of him on both sides of the floor this coming season.
Yeah, same here. I was really encouraged to hear JB talk about him, being a two-way player, because I think that's how a lot of us view him as. And I know some people in the chat are, asking about like availability because he has been injured. Um, this is my thing with availability. I think if you were to go on Basketball Reference, look at the availability stuff, and then look at the schedule and see if the Pistons were trying to tank for a pick. I think a lot of the games outside of the injury that he had his second year, Cade really hasn't missed that many games. I think the Pistons were just trying to tank and shut him down personally.
I agree. I think that's what a lot played to last season. And then even if we're thinking about Cade when he is injured, we've seen him play through injury. We all remember his rookie year, and it kind of sucks to have to keep going down this nostalgic lane with him. But he's a young player, so I'm going to do it anyway. His rookie year, when he had that coming out game against the Nets, he missed a quarter and a half. He played the first quarter, wasn't really shooting and scoring all that much. But when he came back, he was putting up a career high and couldn't be stopped. And he had just hurt his back like the quarter before that after missing the whole second, third quarter. So, like, I just think people are really sleeping on and not really understanding what this guy is capable of and the responsibility that's been on his plate. Like, I hate the argument of, oh, it's empty production. Oh, it's empty calorie stats. It's not his fault. Like, he's not tanking out either. Like, he's still giving great effort. I got to see his mindset, like, in the middle of that 28-game losing streak. Like, he owned all of it head up. Like, I was in the presser watching his facial expression, kind of owning it. And he didn't put it on his team either. He stayed as the leader. He said, no, I got to do better. What happened here is a result of me, too, not playing up to snuff. So I got to be better. He is really taking on that responsibility. And you're seeing that he wants that, too, with the contract he just signed. Would anybody have blamed Cade if he said, I'll wait to sign that for a little bit? I don't think anybody would have blamed him if he said that, money aside. So I just think he has a lot to look forward to. And again, I really think this new help around him is going to unlock his potential better than we've seen thus far.
I mean, you want to get into the debates and conversations. No shot at Jeremy Graham whatsoever, but that's the best player he's ever played with. And you go out and you get Tobias Harris, a Tim Hardaway Jr., and a Malik Beasley. You're getting more vets around him now. I think he'll be fine. I think the production will go up. I think the assist numbers are going to go up because you're getting more shooters around him. I think as a player, I think JB has a lot of plans to like what he wants to use him as the point guard and the franchise player of this team.